My name is Valerie Sayles. I'm a baby boomer born in the year of the sheep in Buffalo, New York. I attended primary school during the 60s in Washington, D.C. After the Watts riots in 1965, my family and I moved to Compton, California. A move that always puzzled me, but be that as it may, here I've stayed. I was not reared in a Christian home, but God provided me with guardian angels. Angels that I was never fast enough to outrun, never slick enough to outwit, or never stupid enough not to follow their lead, except maybe 2 or 3 times. Anyway, my leap of faith is depicted in this piece where I ask our Heavenly Father to take my hand, MLK's favorite hymn, and to guide my feet, Ella Baker's favorite hymn, toward a path of goodness and grace. And as you can see, this piece is incomplete because I, at the age of 63, am incomplete. I am still a work in progress. During one of Dr. Lee's class lectures, we were asked to talk to our neighbors and community members about a public issue they were concerned with. I went to Facebook to pose this question to family and friends and neighbors and former students. The responses ranged from U.S.'s current administration, poverty, environmental concerns, education, women's rights, medication, overdoses of opiums. All of the responses were used to create this collage: words, photos, phrases, stamps, buttons, and unused medicine. But I soon realized it wasn't quite going to be what I needed it to be, because the election was held on November 6th, and this project was not due till November 26th, and so it would be redundant. When I finished reading Ella Baker's biography, I was inspired by a crazy quilt from Baker's generation that hung on Ransby's office wall. Knowing many African American quilters, I knew they created rich narrative quilts. The ideas began to swirl, and I thought about Ella Baker, also known as Fundi, a Swahili phrase meaning a person in a community who passes on the wisdom of the elders using oral tradition and teaching handicrafts. Quilting is a worldwide art form that has been passed down and cherished throughout history. In Dr. Lee's The Great World House, the author states MLK's views were very cosmopolitan and global. Even as MLK traveled the world, he never forgot his roots. He remained steadfast to his commitment to God, his deeply rooted Baptist upbringing, and his love for African American culture, art, music, rituals, and traditions. Now, I'm suggesting a grassroots program as well, a free art program where students can come together in a safe environment, connect and share in conversation with older people who want to share their stories, but are willing and need to listen to the stories of younger generation. This diverse group could hail from churches, community centers, senior citizens' homes, temples, mosques, or even synagogues. These multi-generational gatherings will and could provide a verbal outlet for all ages, gender, and social economic groups. My excitement comes from my parallel reading, as I've stated before. Ella Baker, who found value in people who were raggedy, worn, and a little bit tattered, people that others thought were scraps or remnants. She took these people like strips of fabric and stitched them together in a collective legacy. So I created a quilt that depicts both of my parallel readings: civil rights movement, America, soldiers that have fought to preserve our democracy, Ella Baker on the left, Martin Luther King on the right, on the bottom showing how the world was watching us, and bringing together Ella Baker and Martin Luther King, two activists that both fought for the end of segregation and equality for all peoples. Now, as you look down at the center, you see women who have made a difference in the world as scientists, and I could not help but add a picture depicting the strength of women. This enrichment program could fulfill Martin Luther King's dream of treating children majestically, preparing them to be instrumental in preserving culture, and in Ella Baker, nurturing the youth by talking to them simple, straight,